the staff here at the St. Joe's Club. Eric and the staff have done a great job. This is the first time that Elgin Chamber has been here. We did not anticipate when we put this event here that we would have this many people here. This is double the amount of people that we had at last year's economic update. So we're excited about that. We're all glad that you could join us here today. These luncheons are about making connections, sharing updates, and working together to strengthen the future of the community. I already told you about the last year thing, so I can skip over that. Our topic today is one that directly shapes the future. It's economic development. We're fortunate to have two key leaders with us to provide insight into the momentum and progress happening across Michigan City. We have Clarence Hulse, the Executive Director of Economic Development Corporation, Michigan City, and we have Skylar York, Director of Planning and Redevelopment for the City of Michigan City. Before we dive in, we'd like to take a moment to recognize and thank our members who are in our top tiers. That's Horizon Bank and Blue Chip Casino as our diamond members, and Hitachi Global Air Power, Nika, and the Lodge at Rush Lakes as our platinum members. Thank you for your investment and to help us put on programs like this today. This afternoon's event would not be possible without the generous support of our luncheon sponsor, Chester Incorporated. To say a few words and give an official welcome, please welcome to the stage Tony McKay with Chester.
Greetings, hello, thank you for coming. I'm proud to be a sponsor of this event. I'm proud to be a sponsor of the Michigan City Chamber. Chester Incorporated is a design build firm focused on commercial and industrial construction. And we've been in Michigan City for a long time, Northwest Indiana, and we're just proud to be here and proud to be a partner. So thank you for joining us.
We also have one of our board members. We had a couple board members, a couple of them had to leave. We have one board member here today, Jenny Burkhart with the Waxy Taxi. And I want to take a moment to recognize the Chamber's staff. We recently welcomed Monica Kamazinski as our new membership director. She started last week and has already hit the ground running. We also have Katie Swistek, our events and marketing manager. She put events like this together. And she does a great job with our social media, so if you're not following us on social media, please do that. And I'm proud to stand beside both of them as we work to build the momentum of the Chamber and keep pushing forward. And let me just say, if you're here today and you are not a member, because I know there's some of you that are not, Monica will be reaching out to you shortly. You won't escape that easily. So with that, let's shift our attention to today's panel discussion. Please welcome Clarence and Skylar. Thank you both for being here today. We appreciate you spending your time and imparting your knowledge of what's going on in Michigan City. I've written down some questions that I gave you earlier, so we may not get to all of them, but we'll do our best here in the next 40 minutes or so. Let's start with Skylar. Question for you concerning downtown plaza and retail activation. With the 7-Eleven Franklin Street renovation creating a new plaza space for commercial use and gatherings, how are you planning to activate the space through events, vendor pop-ups, place-making strategies, and what role do local businesses play in that?
Good question. So, what we've done so far today is we have a building down there that has a kind of a blank wall, and now that we've flipped the direction of traffic downtown, traffic downtown, you see that blank wall even more than you probably did in the past. Can you hear me better now? Okay, great. I thought there was not an echo. Excellent. Okay, so let me start with this. What we've done downtown, we have the plaza that's at 7th and Franklin Street, in between Franklin and Wabash. Washington. And you may even notice it more now that we flip traffic downtown, that you see that huge blank wall as you go southbound rather than northbound. When we were going northbound, you probably didn't look in your rearview mirror and notice it somewhere. So what we would like to do is actively use that building, and we've worked with the developer there to come up with a plan to basically poke holes in the wall and create some smaller business spaces there. The things that we're looking for there would be like active businesses. So it would be things that would provide maybe services after hours or yoga in the park, things of that nature that could maybe spill out onto that space. Let's see, what else can I say about that? The way that we're activating it, to put activities there. Last year we electrified the plaza. The issue was that we had the green space and we had the space there to gather, but it always took generators to create the electricity there. That's kind of an issue, especially for smaller organizations to utilize that space, because a generator to put on a big event is quite expensive. You're not going to run a small little generator, and it's also loud. So what we did was we put about $70,000 into directional boring down there. We also worked with our IT department to kind of take some of that cost down. It's completely wired now, and the amount of wiring we've been there, we did our max capacity where we do a skating rink, a large concert. It has that amount of power. So some of the things you'll see happening now down there this year, the Wills and the Parks Department will be programming it for what he's calling movies in the park, movies on the plaza, and it will move between Millennium Plaza and it'll flip-flop between Millennium Plaza down in Washington Park, right over the bridge, and the plaza downtown. Some of the movies he's got are really pretty cool movies he's got. I looked at the list today. Some of them are dear to my heart. They're really good. Let's see, what else? So that's kind of the placemaking strategies. We've also been working with the Kidpreneurs program. They were pretty much one of the first organizations to utilize that space. And then I've had the block party will go there this year for the boat race, and now that it's electrified, it works out a whole lot better. What role do local businesses play? I think local businesses play a role in, if you want to have events down there, you want to do something special down there, you want to do an activation of the whole street. We have the Deborah that's in place now, and figuring out how to use that to benefit all of the businesses in that space. So I think there's room for additional growth in how to utilize that space better, but right now we're seeing organizations come to us more, and I hope to see more of that happen.
Hey, could you describe how Dora works?
So Dora, great question. Dora is I shouldn't use acronyms. I've been told that lately. Dora, designated outdoor refreshment area, meaning that you can, local businesses, local restaurants can serve you a drink and a cup. They are then allowed to go out and walk around our downtown. The Dora in general goes from the beach to 11th Street. It's our first one. We used to do others. This will be our first one, but that's what it is. It is an area where we can have events and you can kind of walk around with a glass of wine if you so choose, or a beer, or a mixed drink. Behave yourselves.
So one of the things we want to see happen in downtown is small business, Park West happening in downtown. And so having 7 and 11 fall apart is one thing, but I thought it was all over the city to do everything. The small businesses are the ones that make those things happen. So we need to see more small business organizing downtown to make these things happen. There are a lot of ideas, and so the city wants to see, well, the city, the residents want to see a 12-month activity in the whole city. And we visited for 6 months and everything closed down in winter, so how do we have more events year round? So it's going to take business people good ideas. So people can have, and people can support that. If it was structured, people can have that. So up to small business and make all these things happen.
Some of the other things that we're looking for, I would echo what Clarence said. The city We can provide support for things at the plaza or in downtown, but it really takes our business community telling us what we want to see coming to us. Other things that we need, like right now, I know Will with the movies cost us to provide. He's looking for $2,500 to put on the rest of the movies. That's literally what he's looking for. I would say that other things like that take some sponsorship to get activations in downtown. One of the other things we're looking at is could we do a sprinkle market downtown? Now we have electricity. Now you have the ability to provide heated tents and things like that. We just haven't had that ability. But it's ideas like that. But again, I don't know that the city can provide all of that. But it would be ideal to have our business community kind of come with us. We'll provide the space and some electricity and power. But give us some ideas because we don't have all the ideas.
Let's stick downtown for just a minute here. Let's talk about the downtown housing and grocery project. You recently announced a $200 million downtown project at 5th and Pine with 500 plus apartments and a new grocery store to address the north side food desert. Can you share where that project stands? Is there a timeline, et cetera?
Sure. As many of you are aware, this March we announced a roughly $200 to $300 million project at Pine and 5th and Pine. We did an RFP process, pretty much all of 2024. We have 9 developers submitted a proposal to us. We did all the proposals, looked at financials, did past projects, and we thought we'd be the right team out of Chicago, grants. What we're looking for is a little apartment, multifamily, mainly apartments. One of the things we know that downtown, there's no food shops, groceries. 1 mile south, 1 mile east or west, no groceries. So if you live in that area, you gotta get the car and drive on my route. So one of the things they asked for was, when you can compete, you need to have a MOU with the grocery. Everybody can do one, which is awesome. Only one grocery was in the region. On both sides, Smithfield and Indianapolis, so I can't say who it is right now, but if he's somebody new to the marketplace and new to us again, with our company. We're currently in negotiating the term sheet. That's part of the stuff we're in the background. We want this, we want that, we want this, and we go back and forth for a while. So we're right now negotiating what that's going to look like. The goal is to break ground next summer. So once we finalize the legal documentation, they'll start doing their analysis of the project. That they probably 2 phases. And the goal is to break ground next summer and then probably a 2-year build-out. So we're looking at 2029 for the period of completion.
Jim, let's go.
Yeah, I would just say also that the development that we chose, we went into it a little bit different than we normally do. We went into it with, we want to see financing up front, so we based our decisions on not just pretty pictures, but also financing, what they had in hand, making sure they had the ability to actually do a project of this magnitude. Community impact, I think you're going to have a new residents downtown. It's still within the transit-oriented development kind of area near the train station. It has a lot of benefits that really serve it well. It will be also a highly amenitized apartment complex, which we don't really have here in Michigan City. We have them around the region, but not here in Michigan City. So it will be bringing a different product to market.
Part of the thing we look for was also not only building the building, but building the programs. And so we went up with the sites in Chicago, Grand Area, with various projects. And they do a great job of having fully amenitized sun houses, fireplaces, pools, cabanas, dog park, dog showers, and those type of old 9 yards. So we were excited to get this office. They're also big into providing retail. And so that's part of the project retail on the first floor. So that's exciting for us.
With another upcoming project, there's been a resident feedback with the Indiana State Prison redevelopment on repurposing the old prison site. with ideas ranging from drive-in theaters to water parks. What has the planning department heard, and how are you balancing community input with vision and investment feasibility?
Sure. It's it'll be a very complicated project. We got a grant to study what the prison will look like in 20 years, 30 years. I tell people, okay, prison closes in the next year. It's probably been 3 or 4 before we even get to actually doing it. We get the analysis, environmental, historical. There's a whole lot going on behind the scenes. And so our goal is to get back into capital as soon as possible. But there's a lot of work that has to be done for that to happen. Part of the process right now is engaging the community, having to be the input of what can happen here. We've looked at other places across the country that have been pretty well. There's been over a dozen that have done very well across the country. And there's conventional tourism sites. The sky's the limit. The question becomes, how do you do that? How much it's going to cost? What do you demolish? What do you demolish? So what's the question you're doing for the people inside the prison? So far, we get back up in the elevator. It's great. But we think it'll be a great site for what we've heard so far is multifamily, small retail village, some single family, possible food lodge, so to speak, close to the beach. So there's been good ideas out there. We'll put some greenbacks, some money to make us happen. Don't expect to see any third term for those 5 years. That's what we're about. It'll take a lot of work to see what's there. It's 150 years old, so when you touch anything, you don't know what you're going to find. It's also a cemetery you have to preserve. But there's been a lot of in-depth work we've done. We're excited. This is could be a whole new face of what happens on the west side of the city, and provide a driving community in that part of the city for the city. And we're also looking at how do we make sure people can live in and live in for the housing as part of that project. Yes, there'll be some market rate, but how do we ensure residents who live there can just live there too? So that's also part of the discussion.
So the economic development is often focused on downtown or lakefront. How is the planning department ensuring that growth and investment are equitably distributed across all neighborhoods?
Well, I would like to say that I'm not the planning director anymore. I am the director of redevelopment now. So previously I was the planning director. We had a planning director and Dr. Dominic Edwards. And I know that she's working. She's
here today. She's here today.
Wave your hand. Please, thank you. Sorry for showing the slide. But she's working really hard to with our CDBG programs to make sure that we're using our funds correctly and making sure that we're making impactful decisions. But also, I think one of the things that's really happened in the last couple of years is we did a Vibrant Michigan City, which I'm not going to slow down when you talk about that. The Vibrant Michigan City Playbook, which really was neighborhood focused, and it really focused around that ring of the city. And I think, Kurt, you really keyed it up well. Like, we made a lot of investment in our downtown. Downtown doing really well. And I think one of the things that was a linchpin for that was really the train station, which allowed us to kind of expand that downtown, what we really think about as our downtown. I mean, when I came here years ago, like the downtown ended abruptly at 11th Street. It was like, well, it's just nothing down there. Well, there's a whole other piece of downtown kind of south of that. Really kind of that Cool Spring to really the lakefront is really kind of what I consider downtown. And I think we put the train station really strategic and great location to really activate both sides. I don't see it as a separator. I see it as an activation of both sides of the tracks, in my opinion. But I think both of those are doing really well. We've done a really good job of the facade grants and things of that nature. One thing I think that we've been lacking in, probably for a while, is really investing back in our neighborhoods and making sure that our neighborhoods are just as strong as our downtown. People are coming here, they're driving through our neighborhoods. We still have, tarps on roofs and things of that nature, and making sure that we're able to help out people who can't otherwise maybe afford that and experiencing some money. I know my mayor's got some ARPA money she's wanting to use as well, and really being strategic and intentional with like how we spend our money in our neighborhoods. A lot of focus is going in on neighborhoods now. Kind of the best who's really coming out, really stopped. You know, we've done a lot of cool art downtown. Now they're kind of focusing on our neighborhoods. A lot of things are happening in our neighborhoods now. The Neighborhood Leadership Academy, I think that's a really key component too. I'm not going to talk about that one too, but it's a key component with teaching and really raising leaders in those neighborhoods who start to put together neighborhood groups. And those make really strong neighborhoods, and they make for excellent community development in our neighborhoods. And then they start telling us what they make our job easier because they start telling us what they need in their neighborhood rather than us telling them what we think they need in their neighborhood.
I think downtown has been a focal point of the city, and no apologies for that. But if there's any place you go with it, downtown is the face of the community. When I came to Big City 12 years ago, you had the plywood, whatever face building in downtown, and the grass and the streets, the cracked sidewalks. That is it downtown. If I come to your city and I see that, I'm off, and that's the stopping in the city. So if you don't protect and maintain your downtown and preserve your downtown, why do people want to come to the community? Why do I want to move to the city? And so I think the city's goal in downtown was focused because the city understood that for the city to grow, we got to make sure downtown is okay. It's been a long haul, but it's a whole lot better. Over 50 new restaurants downtown, over 1,000 apartments in under construction in the pipeline downtown, or lots of new office buildings being done from downtown, planned for downtown, and there's a reason for that. People want to get back to the port and get it downtown. Now, the city has something called a comp plan. Nobody really look into that because it's built on every 10 years, but go to the city's website, look at the comp plan, it tells you where the city wants to see how the city is built for the next 10, 20 years. That's where they want to put certain things. It's all in that comp plan. Industrial parks. We have 2 industrial parks planned for the southwest side, east side. One is being bought by Master Development, Master Plan and build for 11 parks, 20,000 square feet. We have our first subdivision in 50 years on the south side, 113 homes. We've got the in the future that's going to be homes and retail. We've got Market Mall, just got bought by Master Developer, who's going to look at demolition and medical office and different things. We've got 2 or 3 townhomes and other housing across the north and east of the city. So there's a lot going on across the whole city. But we get to focus on downtown to get the city to get jump started. Now that downtown is moving forward, people are coming to the city and you're seeing development across the whole city. We're talking to another company who wants to do about 30 10,000 square feet buildings completely, so that's the area of county development. We've had the Highway 20 has become the auto corridor. There's about 4 brand new auto dealerships on Highway 20. And I told Scott years ago, when people got money and credit, they're happy, and you want to spend money in your city. So having car dealerships is not bad. If people want to buy a car, cost 50 to 70 grand, but when you buy a car, they're happy to go to the restaurant, buy clothes, and want to spend money in it. So yeah. So it's not only downtown was the focus and still is the focus, but that has actually allowed us to actually jumpstart the city's economic growth, and you see now going across the whole city.
So staying with downtown for just another minute here, the South Shore Line double track and the West Lake corridor have improved transit connectivity. How are both of you leveraging transit upgrades to attract the developments, and what challenges remain still with that?
I mean, put this way, there were a number of things that happened in business in the past 15 years. I think our space was probably one of the first signal that the city was trying to move forward in 2015. And then having the double track project, which is across the whole region, $1.6 billion, having $100 million spent in the middle of downtown, and having the first and only mixed-use, multi-nodal facility in Indiana in the city. It does create a lot of attention. I was telling my staff the other day, when I first got here, we had to go and do a whole lot of decades of joining with people come to the city. Now they're wondering now, people don't know what's going on in the city. How they do money. That's a whole different. So having the PRD district has allowed us to actually leverage now new dollars, new incentives to create greater flow irrigation of development, having new standards for development. And so that in itself has set a signal to the community in development across Chicagoland, Indiana, South Michigan, there are businesses that want to do business, and we can do large projects. $100 million, not season.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I mean, when we first looked at the train station, it was a garage. That's all it was. It was just a garage. It was a $16 million garage. So what that allowed us to do is take $16 million and really get a $100 million development, which allowed us to leverage. I mean, there's a lot of things we haven't really talked about, probably publicly or even thought about. Like, it's the only one in the state. It's the only one in the region. There isn't another joint partnership. Chicago doesn't have that. We have a joint transit development or FTA, Federal Transit Authority project. It's the only one. There isn't another one. We don't talk about those things. We should talk about those things because we have it in Michigan City. You know, that's pretty amazing. India doesn't even have that. So, where was I going with that? I lost my train of thought there for a minute. But I think that it allowed us to leverage that, and it's really interesting where we were always looking out to what other places doing, like Valpo and other places. Now they're looking at us saying, how are you doing this? And it's really an interesting shift of questions that we, instead of us asking questions, we're going to get questions asked of us. So it's interesting.
And some things don't always come easy. We had to fight to get that train station. Like you mentioned, we sit here a lot, big box in the middle of the city. But, well, thank you for what next. Because one of the big box parking was really good in the city. So we started fighting for retail and residential. And we went from like 6 stores to like 12 stores. But we had to fight a couple of those in a year and a half with the feds to change their mind with the call congressman to get that moving forward. Because we felt like, hey, give us the $15 million so we can do a public-private partnership. We get a developer, we had to do the RFP, we had 4 developers to show up and give us the drawings, the financials, and we picked one that actually build it. But yeah, that didn't happen because we said, it's going to be good.
So EDC is, or you have more?
I was just going to say real quick, just some of the benefits, just while I'm actually here. Some of the other benefits are we were going to be in charge of maintaining that garage as a city. That was on us. It belonged to us. It still belongs to us, actually. Some of the things we got out of it, we don't have to maintain it. We have a public-private partnership with the developer, Clarity and Collins. They maintain the garage between them and Nathan. So it's not on the backs of the citizens to provide that. You don't park and just leave now. You know, like I said, the garage was great. Thank you for the 431 people there for parking, getting on the train and leaving, but then to get off the train, get in the car and leave. Again, now it's to get off the train, go change your clothes, go downstairs, go to our beach, go to our restaurants. They spend time here. You know, at least 200 of them here, 222 of these. There's probably more than that. So if you think about that, it's probably 400 people. So that's where really the benefit of being able to leverage that. That's the benefit to our community, to our city.
So EDCMC's 2024 report emphasizes workforce development partnerships with schools and vocational training. Clarence, can you highlight one or two recent successful collaborations, perhaps with Ivy Tech or MCAS, and share an outcome?
Well, we have a lot of partners in the education side of the business. We don't do education per se, but we know what our business needs are. So we work with World One, we work with Ivy Tech, we work with MCAS. We look at in the local sphere. Those of you who don't know, we are number one in the U.S. and number one in Italy and for different companies. We have over 12 companies that making pumps. So if you want to buy a pump that's suck of blow, it's all made in the city. You drive a beer, further away, you see a big pump that says Solar Taxi over there. So we got they ship pumps to the Middle East, to Africa, and South America. So we got that business done. And so one of the things we've done with the school is to create a compressor academy. Again, on one of the countries we could be high school and go straight to work in one of the manufacturers. And so the companies actually provided the manuals, they provided the pumps, and so the kids can put them apart. And so again, that's just a few reasons the companies are at the table. Currently with all the auto shops in town, we've got companies donating cars to the tech center. Again, they see a need for more mechanics and people to work in the auto industry, so we work with them to go out and donate all their cars, actually used cars to the kids at school. So again, apprenticeships for people in construction, we have those people in welding. So we work a lot to, what I did is to ensure we have a pipeline of workers who can actually leave high school, with an architect, or with college, or with placement that we can see that we need them. And so we want to make it positive and the young, and they can connect.
So we mentioned a lot of big projects here today. Big projects can stall though. So how do you keep momentum and public confidence when timelines shift on some of these?
That's always the question, Kurt, because
It is, I
we
really.
still don't believe that the PlayStation is going to happen even though it's been built. But unfortunately, we had a past of starting projects that are announced and never got built. And so we are trying to work through that legacy and actually get it done. So I would say like the old come to board, get it done. Because if you don't get it done, you don't believe it. So at this point, I think it's hard to say things aren't being done. You drive through downtown, it's not two-way. There's a bunch of new restaurants that have been put over old buildings that are cleaned up with nice flashing signs, and they have food, great food. The streets are clean, two-way. We've got a neighborhood program where people are in the community actually doing artwork and moving murals and doing the things. So there was a lot of synergy, a lot of excitement, not only from the city side, but the residents, and also a lot of the local business investing in themselves. We got a wine bar soon open up in Midtown. We've got a couple of aspirin places open in downtown. So there's a lot of people who are saying we want to be part of what's happening. So I would say we're trying to change that mindset of it's not going to happen and actually get stuff off the ground.
All right. So what should small businesses, the chambers consist of a lot of small businesses, what should the small businesses be prepared for with this growth, and what type of businesses can we look forward to?
I would say if you are an entrepreneur, start looking for the next level of what's going to happen in the city. I would challenge each of you to either jump in a car or on a plane and go to every city that has train stations in the suburbs. Chicagoland, right here, Oakland Park, Elgin, Jersey, New York, you want to go far, Portland. But all those cities have train stations in the suburbs, and we're kind of a suburb, even though we're a city, we're kind of a suburb of Chicagoland. And within half mile of those train stations are certain types of business. All those types of business are going to be in the city. You got to pick which one you want to do. Think of it, people walk within the half mile to the train station. We have over 1,000 units of multifamily being built in downtown. The train station is building 20 units. Solar the 100 before. We have worked on next one for 3 units of carbon initiative. The 55 is carbon units. So within the next 5 to 7 years, 2,000 units in downtown. So people are going to live in downtown. What do those people want to do when they get home? So if you go to those train stations, what are the types of places people will walk to and from 4 or 5 blocks? To and from work. What types of business are they doing? What are the kind of business you focus on?
And please, look, again, I would like to reiterate this. I do believe that the Midtown area is begging for some new investments in that area. There's some great businesses already there that have really just been hanging on, in my opinion, and they're doing a really good job. I think they're going to be seeing some boosts and benefits when people living there. But don't overlook, again, a whole entire downtown, within a half mile all the way around. So,
And we do have a map, you want to see the map. It's walkable, it's within 3 to 5 minutes. So most people who walk to the train, walk within 5 minutes to the train. And so that's really how the most high traffic and the sweet spot for people want to walk to the business. So whether it's escrow services, government selling shop, whatever services people need to and from work, we're going to find those areas.
Any of the do you have any updates on the progress of some of these larger projects that are happening that we haven't mentioned?
Yeah, so I'll hit on what I'll talk about. I'll do China,
Okay,
Singing Sands, and I'll do Solar.
perfect, yes.
Okay. So I'll start with Tryon Meadows. Tryon Meadows is 200 units, call it 200 units, but what's one unit? So 200 units. That is, so Tryon Meadows, we've been working on that project for about, just to give you kind of a timeline, we've been working on that project for over a year now, so we didn't just take it to the planning commission and then to the redevelopment. We've been working behind the scenes on this with our sanitation department, our stormwater department, our engineering department, meeting the planning and redevelopment and grants and the developer. Working on this for about a year. We have done a rezoning. We have done a TIF, our first housing TIF here. We have done the bonding process, which this will be a developer-backed bond, so he will be basically selling his own bonds. It's not on the back of the city. So we're not doing a general obligation bond or anything of that nature. It's strictly on him. And it's a self-performing bond, so he has to build in order to pay. So, anyways, so that's where we're at with that one. We had just the last redevelopment commission on Monday. We went through all of our process with this, and we have signed our last document. He will go through development review in July. And after that, the plan is to break ground in August with this project for the first phase. Okay, so and the first phase is the largest phase. It has 3 phases in it. First phase is townhomes and single-family development. Second phase will be a commercial component, which will be in the form of an apartment complex with 16 units. There are 2 16-unit apartment complexes in this building. So it's really a mixture of uses there and dwelling types there. It's something that we haven't really seen here, but it's something that's happening across the nation, where you're seeing kind of a blending of home styles or dwelling styles in one space. About a 34-acre lot space, and it'll have new roads, new infrastructure, and that's what the TIF piece of that is for. The housing TIF is will pay for the infrastructure, pipe pavement, sidewalks, street trees, things of that nature. So that's Tryon Meadows, and we will, like I said, we will break ground on that in hopefully August. But again, we've been working on that for over a year now. What other one did I say?
I don't know.
Singing Sands.
Yeah. So
Singing Sands. Singing Sands Suites is what we call it. It can have a different name later on, but I really like that name. Singing Sands Suites. Sounds nice. So Singing Sands Suites is a workforce housing product that we're trying to put out to market. We're working with a group called Helix 33. They're in the Indy area. We've been working with them for quite a while on kind of a couple of other ideas that we had, and this one kind of stuck, and it actually got funding through the Lilly grant, Gift 8, and it actually has a loan, I believe, through IDC that was granted to them. So it's already got some funding there. Right now, we're doing our feasibility on that project. We have a survey going on. There's a little bit of wetland there that we had to delineate. We will be doing geotech work there next. And then just to really show you, this is kind of a special property, in my opinion, because it was actually a property that was on the brownfield list. It's actually a brownfield property. It's one that we're actually going to get a clean bill of health from IGA very soon. And it will be clean to the point that we can reuse it for residential housing. So it's a pretty amazing story to tell with it. We've been dealing with this property through the brownfield program through IGA program for, 12 years now, maybe even longer. And we've been awarded a lot of money from previous insurance holders on this. And we've been able to use that money to clean this property to the point where we can actually put it back into use now and actually put it to a taxable reuse, basically. Where are we at with it? I would say we got a few more months to go with Caroline to get a shovel in the ground. There's a lot of due diligence. The holdup right now is really IGA getting our clean bill of health for the deciding we don't need no further action needed. and then really getting our Alta, our survey in for us, so we can know where to put our holes, and do our geotechnical drilling, and know what kind of soil we're dealing with. That'll be about 300 units, and it's also a modular construction type. I know that might sound a little scary to people, but trust me, modular is really where the future is going right now. Modular housing has come a very, very, very long way. And they can build them very efficiently and ship them here, and they just basically stack them like a Lego, and then they can make the exterior look as any way that we really want it to look. They can also put it up in record time. So we think if we can get everything lined up, we can probably put this to market very quickly. It will be, again, it will be workforce housing. They will be going after, I believe, tax credits for this, using tax credit program at the state level for this project. What else can I tell you? They're also looking at, you asked me how we are leveraging our train station. They're also looking at what's called TIFIA financing. That is a special financing from the Build America Bureau. There's $100 billion of money still there, hasn't been taken away yet, still there, that is available for development of infrastructure and projects around a train station, within the half mile around the train station. Well, we're one of the only ones who has a train station in Indiana, so we're the only ones eligible for it in Indiana. So we have been already in contact with them, and we've already done our NEPA document that we have to do, National Environmental Protection Act document. So we're well through some of the more complicated things with this project. SOLA, I'll move on to SOLA. Where we're at SOLA, right now, SOLA is a very large project, and I guess that's maybe one reason why you asked the question earlier. How do you keep momentum? Well, it's hard to keep momentum sometimes, but I would say that right now, Monday we had a grant extension to SOLA. It's really driven by market factors right now. There's a lot of market factors happening. Interest rates are up. Traditional loan lending isn't the best right now. I'll just leave it at that. And so they're having to go with some non-traditional sort of lending on that. What else was I going to say? They do have a tight timeline right now because we're at really a period in Michigan City, I would say, where it's like we either have to move forward or we have to cut ties and really focus on. We have a lot of other projects going on. We really do. Look at all this project. We have a lot of things going on here, and it's not just downtown; it's all over the city. So we put a tight timeline together. They have some benchmarks they have to hit to do this. They will start the public process of this though. In July, they will be going to the council and presenting for their economic improvement district process that is purely a council-driven process. So they will start that in July. They'll have a public workshop that will be called. You guys can attend that workshop or watch it virtually. So we are starting that process and kind of putting the tools in motion to allow us to move to the finish line with that. So hopefully I did.
I think you did. Any last words, Clarence? We're out of time.
I think it's exciting to be here for Michigan City, a city that's been a state for over 50 years to finally woke up, and I'm glad to be part of it, and I encourage you all to be part of it. We're just seeing, we have to be getting stages of a lot of new stuff in the city. There's so much coming at us right now, and I think I ask the small business to be engaged, be involved, because there's a place for you here. We just want to make sure you're part of what's going on. So when you hear about announcements or events, EDC chambers say, please stay involved. Because we try to grow the city and make it vibrant, diverse, economically valuable, and it takes everybody to do that. It's not the city, the EDC, the chamber. It's everybody in the room, our residents, and make that happen. And I think the city today is going to be a different city in 5 years, 10 years. I tell you, not other things happening in the city, but around the city. Just case in point, in 5 years, there'll be 4,000 high-end jobs, 20 minutes east of us. You know, how many people are not going to live there? Well, they can't live in the crowd like that, all corny and parties. So I think if we have 2,000 people living in that, we'd like to see how many people live in the city. It's 50 minutes by train in the future. So that'll be more business for you guys. Maybe you want to buy stuff, shop, buy insurance, whatever. So there's a lot going on around us that we need to be aware of. South Bend Airport is getting more flights every day. So in the future, you're going to have to get across to Chicago. You can just hop in the train and we'll get 30 minutes by the airport. So our whole lifestyle is being changed, and so we got to start thinking about how do we do things differently and better. But it's all, I think it's all great. So we're trying to be grow cities so it's vibrant, but also a city where people want to be at, have new experiences, and you know, it's all going to be a great place to be because I think it's going to be the people who are here to make it happen.
Thank you, Clarence, and thank you, Skylar, for being here today and sharing your insights and updates for the vision for Michigan City. Let's give them a round of applause, please. It is clear that the community is moving forward with purpose and that collaboration between public and private sectors is key to our continued success. A big thank you also to Chester Incorporated, Tony McKay, and the staff there for sponsoring today's luncheon. We appreciate your partnership and support of the Chamber. To our members, thank you for showing up not just today, but consistently for your businesses, your employees, and for each other. And to our new members, welcome to the Chamber family, and we look forward to supporting you as you grow. And if you're not a member, remember Monica's going to be reaching out. You cannot get away. And thank you again to the staff of the St. Joe's Club for hosting us today. Hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we will see you at the next thing.